Today I will discuss about the mighty fall of the Bharatiya Janata Party, the moment when power lost its composure. Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel What Does This Data Say? I am Ajay Prakash. For nearly a decade, we were told that this was an unstoppable political machine, a party with unmatched discipline, a leadership that was decisive, fearless, and always in control. The BJP projected itself not merely as a ruling party but as a permanent force, something inevitable, something beyond challenge. But history teaches us something very different. Power does not fall suddenly. It does not collapse with slogans or street protest. Power begins to fall when it loses composure, when it stops persuading and starts abusing, when it stops listening and starts silencing, when it replaces accountability with authority. And the clearest sign of that loss of composure did not come from the opposition. It came from within the BJP itself, on the floor of the parliament, from the Home Minister of India. Never in the 75 years of India's parliamentary democracy have we witnessed a moment quite like this. A sitting Home Minister, not a fringe leader, not a backbench MP, but one of the most powerful men in the country, used downright filthy, abusive language inside Parliament. This was not a casual remark. This was not an accidental slip of the tongue. This was a deliberate outburst delivered with the confidence of someone who believed that consequences are no longer applied. When opposition members objected, expecting at least a withdrawal or an apology, what followed was even more disturbing. Amit Shah did not express regret, he did not attempt to defend his words on merit. Instead, he turned to the speaker and said, in effect, delete whatever you find objectionable from the record. This one sentence tells us everything about how power now sees the parliament. Debate is no longer sacred, decorum is no longer mandatory, accountability can be edited out. This was not strength, this was the arrogance of power that believes itself untouchable. And arrogance, historically, is always the final phase before decline. Let me clarify something carefully here. Indian Parliament has seen heated debates before. Sharp words, sarcasm, even occasional unparliamentary remarks across parties, across decades. But what makes this moment different is not just that the language used, it is the attitude towards accountability. In the past, when a line was crossed, speakers intervened, words were withdrawn, and decorum was restored. What we witnessed here was a Home Minister treating parliamentary propriety as optional, suggesting that objectionable words could simply be deleted later. That shift from restraint to entitlement is what marks institutional decline. The danger is not that one minister crossed the line. The danger is that the institution did not push back. This incident is not about one individual, it is about what the institution now permits. When behavior like this goes unchecked, it signals that the guardrails of parliamentary democracy are weakening. Now, when a strong man starts cracking, what makes this episode even more revealing is what triggered it. Rahul Gandhi did not abuse Amit Shah. He did not shout across the aisle. He did not use unparliamentary language. Instead, he did something far more unsettling for insecure power. He mocked, he teased, he provoked calmly, persistently, almost playfully. And Amit Shah cracked. His voice hardened, his body language changed. He became visibly agitated, rattled, unable to maintain composure. Because power that is secure does not tremble under mockery. Leadership that is confident does not explode when teased. Only power that senses erosion behaves this way. What we witnessed was not dominance, it was defensiveness. And defensiveness is the psychological fingerprint of decline. And just imagine this gentleman, Mr. Amit Shah, wants to become the Prime Minister of India someday. And then we have a speaker who just looks away. In any functioning democracy, the Speaker of the House is meant to be neutral, the final firewall protecting parliamentary dignity. But what we have seen over the last few years is something very different. Opposition leaders are frequently interrupted, their microphones are cut mid sentence, they are warned, admonished, and sometimes outright silenced. Yet when the Home Minister crossed every imaginable line, the Speaker chose silence. No intervention, no reprimand, no defense of the House. This selective enforcement is not a procedural issue, it is institutional partisanship. And when institutions stop acting neutrally, political decline accelerates because power begins to operate without restraint. This parliamentary breakdown did not emerge out of nowhere. It followed months, in fact, years, of a steady lowering of political language led from the very top. During the election campaign, the Prime Minister of India repeatedly used rhetoric that would once have been unthinkable for someone occupying that office. Statements like Mangal Sutra le jayenge were not policy arguments. They were fear laden insinuations deliberately crafted to provoke anxiety among women. Similarly, claims like "आपका नल ले जाएंगे" reduce serious economic and fiscal debates into crude theft metaphors designed to scare rather than to inform. Strong governments campaign on outcomes, employment, prices, growth, governance. Weak governments campaign on fear, what will be taken away, who will threaten you, what you might lose. Political language is never accidental, it is always diagnostic. And this language told us clearly that the BJP no longer trusted its own record to carry out a sensible argument. Now let us move away from behavior and look at data because rhetoric cannot shout down numbers. In 2014, the BJP won 282 seats, an absolute majority that reshaped Indian politics. In 2019, it expanded that dominance to 303 seats, riding a wave of nationalism and centralized leadership. In 2024, that dominance ended. For the first time in a decade, the BJP failed to secure a majority on its own and became dependent on allies to form a government. This is not a technicality, it is a psychological shift. A party built on the idea of absolute control does not wear coalition dependence very comfortably. Let us be precise and honest here. Yes, the BJP won Rajasthan in 2023 assembly election, but that victory itself tells us something important. It was not a sweeping Modi wave, it was driven largely by local anti-incumbency against the Congress, caste arithmetic and leadership churn. Rajasthan was won, but it was not owned. Elsewhere, the picture is far less flattering. Karnataka was lost decisively, Himachal slipped away, Punjab saw the BJP reduced to irrelevant. Maharashtra is held together not by popular mandate but by defections and internal fractures. Bihar survives through dependence on allies, not dominance. West Bengal remains a wall the BJP has failed to breach. This is not expansion, this is containment. The BJP is no longer marching forward confidently. It is fighting to hold the ground. For decades, the BJP prided itself on its cadre based structure. Booth level workers mattered, local leaders mattered, organizational loyalty mattered. Today, that structure is exhausted. Decision making is centralized to the point of suffocation. Local leadership is sidelined. Second line leaders are deliberately kept weak to avoid internal competition. Cadres are expected to work endlessly, but without a voice, influence, or respect. No political organization can survive indefinitely as a one man show. Cadre fatigue does not announce itself loudly, it appears quietly as disengagement, silence, indifference. And when leadership finally notices, it is usually too late. And then there is the southern wall that the BJP hasn't been able to break. After 10 years in power, the BJP remains marginal across much of the south. Tamil Nadu continues to reject it, Kerala keeps it at an arm's length, Telangana offers inconsistency, not consolidation, Andhra Pradesh remains transactional, not organic. Despite enormous resources and relentless campaigning, the BJP has failed to produce credible, mass based southern leadership. Parachuting faces without local legitimacy does not build parties, it exposes desperation. A national party that cannot genuinely expand beyond its cultural comfort zone is not rising, it has reached a plateau. If there was one moment that should have forced deep introspection within the BJP, it was Ayodhya. The Ram Mandir was built. Symbolism reached its peak. The campaign was emotionally charged, and yet the BJP lost the Ayodhya seat. This was not a rejection of faith, it was fatigue with overuse of religion as a substitute for governance. Faith mobilizes once, livelihoods matter every day. Ayodhya was not just an electoral loss, it was a warning. The pattern has now become unmistakable. Put all of this together: a home minister abusing parliament, a prime minister using fear based rhetoric, a speaker abandoning neutrality, electoral erosion, cadre burnout, regional stagnation, ideological fatigue. This is not collapse, this is decline. And decline is far more dangerous than defeat because it tempts power to double down on arrogance instead of reform. The BJP will not disappear overnight. Power rarely does. But when power starts abusing instead of arguing, when it needs institutions to shield it, when it edits the record instead of answering questions, the fall has already begun. Not with a bang, but with a loss of dignity. And history has never been kind to parties that mistake dominance for permanence. Thank you for watching. I am Ajay Prakash. You will see me again in the next episode.